Hello everyone and welcome to another Tempo Strategy Wild Hearthstone video. Ashes of Outland era Standard features some of the strongest cards ever made in Hearthstone, and while it's no shock that the strongest cards in Standard tend to also be strong in Wild, you may be shocked to learn that there are powerful cards in Wild that see almost no play in Standard. Let's take a closer look as we count down the top 10 cards that go from zeros in Standard to heroes in Wild. Each of these cards sees play in less than 1% of Standard decks, but they form the backbone of many of the decks in Wild's top tiers. Before we get started, be sure to subscribe to the Tempo Strategy YouTube channel and to turn notifications on to stay up to date with our Wild Hearthstone content. Starting our countdown at number 10, we have Splitting Axe. Shaman is in rough shape in Standard, but in Wild, decks like Even Shaman are a cornerstone of the meta. In Even Shaman, Splitting Axe combines with powerful totem synergy cards to build a massive board in the blink of an eye. Of course, you can find Splitting Axe in Totem Shaman decks in Standard too, but they're not exactly tearing up the meta. In Wild, Gen Greymaine's 1-mana hero power summons swarms of totems quickly, and Wild exclusive cards like Totem Golem and Thing from Below make Splitting Axe a massive tempo swing that can go toe-to-toe with any deck in the meta. Next, at number 9, Big Demon strategies in Warlock are so far from viable in Standard that an awkward 8-mana taunt like Enhanced Dreadlord is practically unplayable even in a defensive deck like Quest Warlock. But in Wild Cube Warlock, you have cards like Skull of the Minari and Voidcaller, so you almost never pay full retail price for Enhanced Dreadlord. Once it hits the board, it locks out aggressive decks like Pirate Warrior, especially when you get to make copies of it with Carnivorous Cube and resummon them with Bloodreaver Gul'dan or N'Zoth the Corruptor. With solid stats, a powerful death rattle, and so many ways to put it into play for free, Enhanced Dreadlord is a big part of what makes Wild Cube Lock tick. Next up at number 8, Mana Giant would be a cornerstone of Spell Mage decks in Standard, but with Conjurer's Calling nerfed and Mountain Giant moved to the Hall of Fame, the payoff for building a deck around giants just isn't what it used to be. Of course, in Wild, not only is it easier for Mana Giant to hit the board early, but it's also easier to turn this 0-mana 8/8 into a lethal threat. Alongside its partner in crime, Arcane Giant, it's a linchpin in decks like Quest Mage and Reno Mage that use Open the Way Gate to set up a one-turn kill. Even if you haven't completed the quest yet, an early Mana Giant can quickly swing the game in Quest Mage's favor against aggro. With a shocking amount of power and flexibility in the right deck, Mana Giant is a looming threat that you don't want to underestimate. Next up at number 7, Novice Engineer is an unassuming basic card that we've had since the game's beginning, and while its popularity waxes and wanes, it's usually an underwhelming card in Standard. In Wild, however, Novice Engineer is a crucial draw card that sees play in a wide variety of combo decks, like Mecha'thun Warlock and Reno Priest, that need a critical mass of draw power to burn through the deck quickly. There are other neutral card drawing minions that also fill the same role, and they're all several times more popular in Wild than they were in Standard too. Bottom line, with so many exciting combo decks to play in Wild, Novice Engineer is one of the format's secret staples. At number 6, Muckmorpher is yet another example of a Shaman card that sees virtually no play in Standard, and yet in Wild, it's the centerpiece of one of Shaman's most exciting competitive decks. Big Shaman is all about cheating out big threats, from classic powerhouses like Yashiraj Rage Unbound to mal-aligned heavy hitters like Scrapyard Colossus, and Muckmorpher makes it easy to bring those minions to the table well ahead of schedule. Add in Ancestral Spirit or Vivid Spores, and a 4/4 Muckmorpher can become a full-sized behemoth that can easily take over the game. With so many colossal minions and so many ways to summon them cheaply, Big Shaman is a force of nature in Wild, and Muckmorpher is a crucial piece of the puzzle. Coming in at number 5, Expired Merchant has seen some play in Standard Zoolock as a part of a draw engine with Hand of Gul'dan, but Zoolock has dropped in popularity, so Expired Merchant has fallen off the radar. On the flip side, Expired Merchant is seeing a ton of play in Wild Warlock decks. Discard Zoo Warlock is among the most popular decks in Wild, taking advantage of all the discard synergy from Hearthstone's history, and Expired Merchant with Hand of Gul'dan is only one of the deck's many resource engines. At the same time, Expired Merchant is also popular in Cube Warlock, where it's used to duplicate top-end threats like Bloodreaver Gul'dan and bury the opponent in the late game. Altogether, Expired Merchant is a flexible card generator that's a big part of Warlock's Wild dominance. Next up at number 4, we have Barista Lynchen. With few strong Battlecry minions left in Standard after the recent rotation, the Barista stuck behind the bar serving drinks. In Wild, however, Barista Lynchen goes from being forgotten into being a superstar in Highlander decks packed with powerful battlecries. Reno Mage decks featuring Luna's Pocket Galaxy can play Barista alongside a variety of devastating battlecries to help build intimidating boards and lock the opponent out of the game. Even if she's the only one rebuying 1 or 2 minions, some of them, like Reno Jackson and Zephyrus, are so powerful that playing them more than once can win the game on their own. If Standard shifts back to a meta where high-value battle cries are powerful, it wouldn't be hard to see Barista Lynchen move out from behind the bar to back in the spotlight where she belongs. Moving on to number 3, we have Jepetto Joybuzz, who is so far from the spotlight in Standard that only the likes of Highlander Shaman will dare to play him. But in Wild, minion-based combo decks are all over the place, and that's where Jepetto Joybuzz shines brightest. In Reno Priest, for instance, Jepetto can draw into core combo pieces like Raza the Chained or Spawn of Shadows, or it can draw high-value battlecry minions like Kael'thas or Dragon Queen Alexstrasza. In Togwaggle Druid, you can draw Jepetto alongside your combo pieces with Juicy Psych Melon, and then use him to draw the rest of your combo, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. Any big mana combo decks can find room for Jepetto Joybuzz, which makes him a staple card for Wild collectors. Sliding into the number 2 spot, we have Arcane Flakmage. In Standard, even though Arcane Flakmage and Ancient Mysteries can work together to clear the board, there are few viable mage secrets in that format beyond Flame Ward, and if you don't have Ancient Mysteries, playing Arcane Flakmage with a secret can be an expensive play for very little payoff. The same can't be said for Wild, where Arcane Flakmage is the key to Secret Mage's anti-aggro prowess, which arguably made it the best deck in Wild for months on end. When combined with Cabal Lackey, Arcane Flakmage lays waste to the enemy's board and gives Secret Mage plenty of time to build up a critical massive burn. Beyond that, Wild has a wide range of powerful mage secrets and synergies that turn Secret Mage into an absolute monster. And yet, even with such a huge difference in its power level between Wild and Standard, Arcane Flakmage isn't the most surprising card on this list. That title falls to our number 1 card that's good in Wild, but bad in Standard, Kael'thas Sunstrider. Wait, wasn't Kael'thas so powerful in the early days of Ashes of Outland that he had to be nerfed? Kael'thas was once the MVP of Demon Hunter OTK decks, but after his nerf to 7 mana, Kael'thas is now sitting on the bench in Standard. In Wild, however, Kael'thas is still a powerhouse in decks like Jade Druid, where Druid has plenty of cheap spells to consistently activate his effect, and has Ultimate Infestation as the ultimate payoff card. Kael'thas is also a crucial combo piece in Mecha'thun Warlock. Play Dollmaster Dorian, Plot Twist, and any cheap spell with Mecha'thun in hand and an empty deck, and you can cast a 0-mana Cataclysm to win the game on the spot. Beyond that, any class that has cheap utility spells and powerful top-end spells will have a Kael'thas combo deck waiting in the wings. All in all, Kael'thas Sunstrider is one of the most powerful cards in Hearthstone, and it wouldn't take much to see him become a serious threat in Standard once again. That's it for our top 10 countdown of strong Wild cards that see little play in Standard. For many of these cards, all it would take to see them in Standard is the right synergies, so if you're a Standard player, you might want to hold off on dusting them, and if you're a Wild player, they're all solid cards to craft in the right decks. If you enjoyed this spotlight, let us know in the comments which cards you'd like us to feature next, and as always, be sure to subscribe to the Tempo Strategy YouTube channel and turn on notifications in order to stay current with our Wild Hearthstone content. Thanks for watching!